to identify the victims or identify the evidence for the first time.
When we hear about DNA and forensic science, it reminds us a lot about CSI and a TV serial that we've seen from America as well. Well, ladies and gentlemen, in this book, you also find out a lot more about Dr. Francis' challenges. Now, as you know, in Thailand, the police force is very powerful.
Yes.
And I'm quite sure when you're involved in all these murder cases and also crime solving, there'll be a lot of different battlefields. You'll probably come into opposition with some forces. Let's find out from the very beginning, how did you get into forensic science?
Maybe because after becoming the anatomical pathologist to do the autopsy of the medical case. In the northern part of Thailand, I have to do the unnatural death investigation too. And in the case of the unnatural death, we need more knowledge, more than the medical knowledge. It's the DNA or the fingerprints or the tool marks. And we have to go to crime scene to collect more evidence, to talk to the police, to talk to the witness. And for that time, we have no lab in our country, just only under the police.
When was this? Was this in the 80s?
30 years ago.
30 years ago. So that was about 1980. Okay.
And after that, when I moved to Ramathibodi Hospital, it's a university, we have a lot of cases of paternity case. And at that time, no service for the DNA.
Paternity test is to see if the child and the father or the mother, whether they're related.
Yes,
okay.
because the father will never believe in the daughter or the son. So it depends on the scientific proof. And after establish the DNA for the paternity case, the case of the murder case happened the first time in Thailand that we need for the DNA test. It's my medical student was killed by her boyfriend. He cut the body into small pieces and throw it into the toilet.
161 pieces, is that right?
In the toilet, it's the skin, pieces of skin in the toilet tank. And he threw the skeletal remains in the river. And at that time...
And I read also he cut the head.
Yes.
Put it on a pier.
Cut the head before cut the body into small pieces and throw the head and the skeletal remains in the riverbank outside Bangkok. And at that time, he confessed that he killed her in the hotel room. But for me, no. I didn't believe that because there should be smell or the blood stain in the hotel room. But 1 month after that, no one found the blood stain. So we went to his dormitory room and in the toilet room. We found only 0.3 centimeter of the blood stain in the toilet room, and the DNA of this belonged to the medical student. So that is the first time. And the other thing is that the skull of her, the doctor identified as the skull of the man, not a woman. But from the color of the teeth and from the DNA, the skull belongs to my medical student. So that's the first time that we introduced the DNA.
Okay. And how long ago was this? Which year was this very first case?
14 years before this. Yes.
14 years before this. Isn't it difficult to imagine that now we're so familiar with DNA, we know what DNA means, and we're getting to recognize a little bit more about what forensics mean.
Yes.
But 14 years ago, there was no DNA testing in Thailand.
No DNA test in Thailand, but in the Western country, 10 years before that. I don't know why we didn't recognize about the DNA in the forensic science service in Thailand. I don't know.
Okay. Now, at first you were researching on DNA for diseases.
Yeah.
And then there was a turning point. You started to do autopsy, and you found out that DNA, especially when dealing with dead people, it tells different stories as well. Is that the same with car accidents?
Yes. When the car hits the victims and went away, we can link the car with the victims by the DNA that there are the blood stain in front of the car that match with the DNA of the victim. And more than that, in the south, the DNA of the car bomb can link to the one who drove the car at the scene. that's the DNA of the sweat on the steering wheel. So right now, DNA can solve crime more than the autopsy.
I see. And DNA would also tell you who is at fault, who was the person who was responsible for the car
Yes,
accident.
but sometimes we don't know. So for the work in the South, we have to link from the intelligence information. That we have to collect the DNA of the father and mother and the son and the daughter, so we can know who's involved in the crime. Yes.